Hello fellow creators and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm jumping straight into my September plan with me for my bullet journal. Now this month's theme, I decided to go with butterflies. Over the summer, as you may have known, I went on a basically cross-country road trip to New York, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore for the summer, and it was super fun. I had never been up north before, so there were a lot of really cool things that I got to see. And one of those things was this butterfly room exhibit at the New York Library. It's been a dream of mine to go to the library, and I did not know that they had this exhibit in there at the moment, and so I was really inspired by it. I sort of changed up the color scheme just a little bit. Instead of blue, which they had a nice light baby blue background, I decided to go with a purple and orange theme for the butterflies, and I think that color combination turned out really well. And as you can see, something that did not turn out nearly as well was my font choice for September. I didn't really have a plan going into it, and I figured I would just do like a nice faux cursive, but I realized that my Crayola marker was either running out of ink or was just not creating the swift lines that I had wanted. So I'm not going to blame my materials though, as I am very bad at calligraphy for the most part. But I kind of sort of fixed it by outlining it a little bit with pen, so I think it ended up turning out really well. And then on the left side of the page, I guess I neglected to talk about this last time, but for every setup page, I normally have a memories page on the left where I just put in pictures. Sometimes Polaroids. I do have a Polaroid camera, but more often than not I end up just printing out the pictures. And then I have the actual theme and cover page on the right side. I normally am not a big fan of doing quotes. I tried to do it at the beginning of the year and a little bit last year, and it's okay. It's just it was not for me, and I found it a lot very time consuming to try and find a quote and then work on my lettering and fonting, which, as I said, I'm very bad at. But yeah, so right now I'm just sort of filling in the butterfly shape. I also sort of didn't really have a plan going into this. I had this butterfly stencil-y thing that I used to do the outlines for all the butterflies in this setup, but as far as the insides go, I found a lot of different pictures that were very, very detailed, and I sort of just wanted to just go at it and stick to an idea. So I just sort of did these rough little colorful outlines by the wings and then outlined them with pen to give them some depth and dimension. So this was actually quite simple compared to a lot of the designs that I saw online. However, it did take a long time. It was very tedious to go in and draw all the lines and then trace them again with the pen. And as you can see here, I thought that it needed a little something, and normally in my themes I use 3 colors. So I decided to use a brown marker and just add a couple of little sparkles on the page, just to give it some action and make it seem a little bit more fun and full. And I think that's a really good touch. I kind of almost wish that I had done that for the memories page as well, but I figured that it was all just going to get covered up by pictures anyway, so that would have kind of been a waste of time. But maybe I'll go back in and do that because it does look nice now that I'm looking at it again on the screen. But yeah, here I am going in just sort of roughly outlining the color splotches, and I think that it really adds a lot to the butterflies. It really makes it feel very intentional. Just that quick little outlining can really make something feel a lot more full and coordinated and everything. And yeah, and then at the last minute I decided that I wanted to sort of accent that brown more and make it feel part of the theme more, so I added in the middle butterfly just some quick little brown splotches in there, and we're on to the monthly calendar. So I kept my normal 6x6 grid calendar for this month. As I said last time, I tried my best to do a 1-page calendar, and it was not really enough room. Granted, I did it over the summer, so I didn't really have a lot to do, so it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been. But when the school year starts, I like to have plenty of room to write down all the events going on, because Lord knows that being a college student, there is a lot of events going on. And just on the right hand side there, it kind of got blurred out, but I'm just writing like a little master to-do list for events and to-dos that I don't necessarily have a specific day for, but just need to get done sometime in this month. So I put that on the side of the monthly calendar. And here I go, I'm just putting in another butterfly and just making the simple, splotches again into the butterfly. This monthly calendar setup was like super simple, but I really like how it is. I think that it's one of my most functional spreads. I go to it every day. And what you guys don't see in these videos is me filling out my events, and it's just like it brings me so much joy and like satisfaction to be able to write in all of my events into the calendar, and then I go over them with marker again over all the events and color coordinate the events and like what they are and what I have to do and all of that jazz. So I just love that step of the process so much. And here I am again. I'm sort of just putting in these like purple sprinkles. If you don't know, my yearly theme for this bullet journal is like sprinkles, and so what I like to do is incorporate that into all of my monthly setups. So I normally end up doing it in this monthly calendar because there's just so much extra space. So I just did some quick little purple sprinkles, and I'm just outlining the September in purple. But other than that, that's basically it. This is probably one of my most simple spreads in terms of decoration and setup. It's just, the calendar and some boxes. But I do think that it came together really well, and I love the color combination. And I know I said this in August, but I just love this color combination so much, and I really feel like a good color scheme can really enhance your, spreads. And now we're over the page and onto my habit tracker. So if you also didn't watch my video from August, this style of habit tracker, I know that there are a lot of different bullet journalers online that have a lot of different methods for habit tracking, but I just find this like column-y full page spread like so effective for me. I can put whatever habits I need on the top and the sides, and it's just all laid out there for me. And so it's super easy. I don't have to, if I'm busy one day and I'm just trying to fill out if I did a habit or not, like I don't have to get my markers out and like color in a box or do like what I would for like a mood tracker. I can just like quickly go across the day and everything, and I really like that aspect about this. And I've been using this for a couple of months, like I've been throughout this year like changing up the styles for all of my monthly spreads. I'll try and I'll try this layout or try something different. But the habit tracker now, I've had it since about I think April or June or something like that, April, May, or June or something around that time, but I just have not been able to let go of this. I really like it. And yeah, now I'm onto the mood tracker, which I kind of had an interesting idea for this one because the stencil that I had for the butterfly, it didn't quite fit two butterflies next to each other on a page, which you can kind of see I had to kind of like lean one of the butterflies in for the size in order to make them fit. But I figured that since there are about 5 weeks-ish, basically like there's 4 weeks and then a few days, that I would have 4 main butterflies, and I would do like the moods for the week. So basically like my moods for that week, I'm gonna just take turns filling in the butterflies, and then it'll be divided by weeks. And then the top and bottom half of a butterfly behind the mood tracker box is what I'll do for the next few days. So I really kind of like that, and I'm experimenting with it and seeing if I really will enjoy comparing not just the mood for the months, but for each week, and see how that progresses. But anyway, now I'm on to my playlist spread, and I was so happy because I felt like last month in August I had a half-page spread for my playlist, and while I was able to fit everything, it just wasn't really the same. I really like the look of a full-page playlist spread, and so I was able to do that this month with a little thinking. I moved my budget tracker, if you didn't notice, into my habit tracker with the long chart and everything, because now that I'm back at school, I'm basically going to be reading every day, which is one of the habits I tracked over the summer, so I figured I wouldn't really need to track that. So anyway, moving the budget tracker into the habit tracker allowed me to create a full page playlist spread. So what I did was I kept that butterfly, like the main butterfly, and having like the title of the spread, but then I had like the sides of the butterflies on each corner, which I think will be very cute. And another thing that I like to do for my weekly spreads is, and I know everybody kind of does this differently, but because I use my journal for the full year, I mainly have 1-page weekly spreads. So I try to keep the same layout of spread for every month. So the layout that you're seeing me do right now is going to be for all of the days in this month, but I do a different style of weekly for every month. So my June plan with me does not look anything like this setup does. It's a completely different shape and style and vibe altogether. So I'm gonna try and keep that up for the rest of the year, and I really enjoy that because I think it still gives like the cohesion with having them all together. But yeah, so now we are on to the final flip through. Thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble and talk about this month's theme. I hope you guys are gonna have a great rest of your August and a great September, and I hope to see you back next time. Bye.